The smell of pine and cinnamon filled my parents' living room. 23 family members packed around the extended dining table. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. Crystal glasses caught the light from the chandelier. This was Mom's favorite holiday, when she could perform generosity in front of an audience. I'd arrived late from the city, still in my work clothes. Mom had texted 3 times, "Don't be late. Important family announcement." I thought maybe Dad was finally retiring. Maybe they were planning a big trip. I didn't think my mother was about to commit wire fraud in front of her entire extended family. Dinner ended. Mom stood, tapping her wine glass with that theatrical precision she'd perfected over decades of family gatherings. "Everyone, I have wonderful news to share." She pulled out a leather folder, the expensive kind, heavy and embossed. My sister Emily sat beside her, already smiling that particular smile she gets when she's about to receive something she didn't earn. "As you all know," Mom began, her voice carrying across the room, "Emily and her family have been struggling. 3 children, medical bills, a house that needs constant repairs." She paused for effect. "Meanwhile, my other daughter has a lake house she barely uses. A beautiful property on Lake Tahoe that sits empty 11 months a year." My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. That lake house wasn't empty. I rented it out. It generated $4,800 monthly. It was my retirement investment. "So," Mom continued, opening the leather folder with ceremony, "I've taken care of the transfer. As of today, that lake house belongs to Emily. Where it should have been all along." She pulled out documents. Official-looking papers with county letterhead, legal language, signature lines. My signature apparently already filled in. The table erupted in applause. Aunt Linda actually had tears in her eyes. "Oh, Jennifer, how generous of you to give up that property for your sister." I set my fork down carefully. The room felt like it was tilting. "What transfer?" Mom's smile didn't waver. "Don't make a scene, Jennifer. Your sister deserves this more than you. She has a family. Real responsibilities." "That's my property," I said quietly. "I bought it 6 years ago. With my own money. I never agreed to any transfer." Uncle Robert, who apparently fancies himself the family lawyer despite only practicing small-town real estate law, adjusted his glasses. "I reviewed the documents myself, Jennifer. Everything's legal and binding. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices for family." Emily was already on her phone, showing pictures to cousins. "We can vacation there every summer. The kids are going to love it." My grandmother patted my hand. "It's the right thing, dear. Emily needs it more." I pulled out my phone, opened my email, found the message I'd received 2 days ago from my title insurance company. Subject: Urgent fraudulent transfer attempt flagged, action required. "Actually," I said, my voice cutting through the excited chatter, "there's something you should know." Mom's expression shifted slightly. Just a flicker, that micro-tell when she knows something's wrong but hasn't figured out what yet. "My title insurance company contacted me 48 hours ago," I continued. "Someone attempted to file a property transfer for my lake house. The county recorder's office flagged it as suspicious and sent it to my insurance company for verification." The room went quiet. Not the pleasant quiet of anticipation. The cold quiet of people realizing they've walked into something dangerous. I stood up, pulling up the email on my phone. The signature didn't match my notarized documents on file. The notary stamp was from a notary whose license expired in 2019. And most importantly, I looked directly at Uncle Robert. The property has a title insurance policy that requires my verification for any ownership changes. Uncle Robert's face went pale. The documents looked legitimate." "They're forgeries," I said flatly. "My insurance company's fraud investigation team has been working with the county DA's office since Wednesday." Mom's hand tightened on her wine glass. "You're being dramatic. This is just a misunderstanding." "Is it?" I turned to her. "Because my title insurance company has very specific questions. Like who forged my signature? Who created the fake notary stamp? And who filed false documents with the county recorder?" Emily's phone had stopped mid-scroll. "Mom, you said this was all legal." "It is legal," Mom insisted, but her voice had lost its certainty. "Robert reviewed everything." I pulled up another email. This one from my property management company. "My property manager called me last week. Said someone contacted her claiming to be the new owner. Wanted access to rental records, tenant information, revenue statements. My manager refused and contacted me immediately. Aunt Linda looked confused. Revenue statements? I thought you never used the place. I use it constantly, I said. As an investment property. It's rented year-round through a property management company. Generates $4,800 monthly. Has for the past 4 years. That's $230,000 in rental income. The number landed like a grenade. Cousin Mike did the math out loud. Wait, $4,800 monthly? That's over $57,000 a year. $57,600, I confirmed. The property's current market value is $1.4 million. I bought it for $650,000 6 years ago, fixed it up, established it as a premier rental property. It's my retirement fund. My grandmother's expression had changed. She was looking at Mom now with something that might have been recognition. Margaret, you told me Jennifer won that property in some contest. That she didn't want it. I told you, Mom said quickly, that she didn't appreciate it. You lied, Grandmother said quietly. The disappointment in her voice was devastating. Kept going. The emotional cost accounting had to happen now in front of everyone or would never matter. For 6 years, every family gathering you've called me selfish. Every Christmas, every birthday, every holiday dinner. When are you going to think about someone besides yourself? Your sister has children. Real responsibilities. I started believing it. Started feeling guilty about my savings account, my investments, my career success. My voice didn't shake. This was the ghost ledger and it demanded precision. Last year, you asked me to loan Emily $15,000 for medical bills. I wrote the check. You called me stingy for not making it 20. The year before you wanted me to co-sign for her car. I did it. You said I took too long to decide, made Emily feel like a charity case. Mom's jaw was tight. You're twisting. I'm stating facts, I interrupted. And here's another fact. 3 months ago you asked for my property information. Said you wanted to add me to your will, needed my deed numbers for estate planning. I gave them to you because I'm your daughter and I trusted you. Uncle Robert's face had gone from pale to gray. Margaret, you told me Jennifer authorized this transfer. That she wanted to gift the property but was too proud to do it publicly. She did authorize it, Mom said, but the conviction was gone. In principle. She just doesn't remember. I remember everything, I said. And so does Title Insurance Company of America. And so does the San Bernardino County DA's office. And so does the California Department of Insurance, which regulates fraud in property transfers. I pulled up the third email. This one was from my attorney. My lawyer contacted me on Wednesday. The Title Insurance Company's investigation uncovered something interesting. This isn't the first time you've tried this, Mom. The room had gone completely silent. Even the kitchen sounds had stopped. 2 years ago, you attempted to add Emily's name to the deed. The title company rejected it. Improper documentation. 18 months ago you tried to establish an easement giving Emily access rights. Also rejected. This is the third attempt. The pattern establishes intent. Emily pushed back from the table. Mom, what the hell? Your sister has always been selfish, Mom said, her voice rising. Always hoarding her success while you struggle. Someone needed to balance the scales. By committing forgery? My grandmother's voice was ice. By filing false documents with the county? I laid out the procedural reality. The justice system needed to see its own reflection. Here's what happens next, I said. The county DA has the forged documents. They have the fake notary stamp. They have my original signature samples for comparison. My title insurance company has already denied the transfer and flagged Mom's information in their fraud database. Within the next 2 weeks, the district attorney will decide whether to file criminal charges. The potential charges include forgery, filing false documents with a government agency, identity theft, attempted wire fraud, and elder abuse, since she also forged grandmother's signature as a witness. My grandmother's hand went to her mouth. I never signed anything. I know, I said gently. Your signature is on the witness line. But you're in Arizona right now, have been for 3 weeks. There's no legal way you witnessed this document. Uncle Robert stood up abruptly. I need to speak with my attorney. I reviewed these documents in good faith. I had no knowledge. I know, I said. I've already told my lawyer you were misled. But Mom told you I authorized this. That's conspiracy to commit fraud. You might want that attorney sooner rather than later. He left. Just walked straight to his car. We heard the engine start, tires on gravel. The family lawyer had vanished and my mother's face showed the math finally computing. I turned to Emily. Did you know these were forged? She was crying. No. God, no. Mom said you'd agreed. That you were too embarrassed to give it directly, so she was handling the paperwork. I thought you were finally being generous. I'm generous with people I trust, I said. You spent the last 6 years telling me I was selfish. At every gathering, every phone call. Jennifer has so much. Jennifer should share. You made me feel guilty for working 80-hour weeks, for sacrificing relationships and travel and free time to build something. The ghost ledger was spilling out now and I couldn't stop it. I missed your daughter's birthday last year because I was closing a property deal. You called me heartless. But I sent a $500 savings bond. You texted, money isn't love. But when Mom told you that you were getting a $1.4 million Lakehouse, you didn't mind that it was just property. Emily's face crumpled. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Maybe you didn't, I said. But you benefited from believing a comfortable lie. My mother stood, her chair scraping harsh against the floor. You're going to ruin Christmas over a property you barely use? Destroy your family because you can't share. And there was the fundamental misunderstanding she'd always had about family. I'd spent years studying this dynamic. There's a psychological concept called the gambler's fallacy. The belief that if you just keep trying, the outcome you want becomes more likely. I kept feeding the slot machine of family approval, convinced the jackpot of acceptance was mathematically inevitable. But my mother wasn't playing a game where I could win. She was playing a game where my winning meant her losing control. I'm not destroying this family, I said quietly. You did that when you forged my signature. When you lied to your sister, your mother, your brother-in-law. When you tried to steal $230,000 in rental income and $1.4 million in property value. I started gathering my things. My coat, my purse, the cookies I'd brought that no one had touched. Grandmother stood. Jennifer, wait. I turned. I'd like to come with you, she said. If you have room in your car. Always, I said. Mom's voice followed us to the door. You're choosing her over your own mother? After everything I've done for you? I stopped. Turn back one last time. Everything you've done for me? Mom, I've been financially independent since I was 22. You told me I was selfish for buying the Lakehouse instead of helping with Emily's wedding. You called me heartless for working instead of babysitting for free. You made me feel guilty for every success while you plotted to steal from me. This family isn't who shares blood, I continued. It's who shows up when blood isn't enough. Grandmother just showed up. You showed up with forged documents and a felony. We left. Grandmother settled into my passenger seat, her overnight bag in the back. The Christmas lights on my parents' house blinked cheerfully, oblivious to the devastation inside. Where are we going? Grandmother asked. I have a hotel room in the city, I said. Or I can take you to your son's house in San Jose. The hotel sounds lovely, she said. We can have breakfast tomorrow. Talk about what happens next. What happened next came faster than even I expected. The DA filed charges within 10 days. 3 felony counts: forgery, filing false documents, identity theft. Uncle Robert faced conspiracy charges, but they were dropped when he cooperated fully, providing his communications with Mom showing she'd lied about my authorization. The family fractured in predictable patterns. Dad filed for divorce within 3 weeks. Apparently this wasn't the first time Mom had forged documents, just the first time she'd gotten caught. Aunt Linda stopped speaking to Mom entirely. The cousins' group chat went silent. Emily tried to apologize multiple times. Long emails, voice messages, texts begging to talk. I didn't respond. Maybe someday. But forgiveness without consequences is just permission to try again. Mom took a plea deal. 2 years probation, restitution, community service. Felony on her permanent record. She has to disclose it on job applications, housing applications, professional licenses. The scarlet letter of fraud follows her everywhere. 6 months later, I'm sitting on the deck of my Lakehouse. The one I still own. The one that still generates 57,600 annually. Grandmother is visiting, she does that now, stays for weeks at a time. Your mother called again, grandmother says gently. I know, I say. You don't have to forgive her. I know that too. I get emails from my title insurance company quarterly. Thank you for your vigilance in protecting your property rights. They never say it directly, but my case became a training example for their fraud detection team. The lake is quiet today. Smooth as glass. My rental tenants, a lovely couple from Sacramento, are arriving tomorrow for a long weekend. They've been coming for 3 years now. They send Christmas cards. I think about Mom sometimes. Wonder if she understands what she lost. Not the conviction, not the probation. Those are external consequences. The real loss is simpler. She had a daughter who would have helped. Who would have loaned money, offered support, been generous within reason. But she wanted control more than she wanted relationship. Wanted to take rather than ask. Revenge isn't rage. It's patience sharpened into strategy. I didn't destroy my mother. I just refused to be destroyed. My phone buzzes. It's grandmother. Fresh coffee ready when you come inside. I stand brushing lake water from my hands. The property is mine. The future is mine. The choice of who gets access to both is mine. Mom wanted me to share. She just never understood that theft and sharing are completely different transactions. One requires trust. The other destroys it. And you can't forge that difference no matter how official the documents look.